Hello and welcome to the show. Midnight Club LA is a really rather fantastic racing game, and it is kind of a shame we haven't had in fact all of the Midnight Club games are pretty damn good. It's kind of a shame we have not had another one. Now, I've played LA a fair bit on some streams, and I would have done kind of stream highlights videos. There is a slight problem with this game. A lot of what we do is, as you can imagine, messing around with car customization. Problem is, while I can turn all the music off in the game here, in the garage there is background music automatically playing that you cannot turn off. And because of the way I record streams and so on, I kind of record all the audio in one go. It means that the audio for that is basically useless because the music is copyrighted. In fact, I think some of my streams have had their stuff, the audio muted in places because of those, because of that. Also, the stream, the recorded videos. So, yeah, we haven't been able to do any highlights. However, I do want to take some time to show you the cars that were created because, I mean, there's no words. There's no words that could be used to describe them. Although, before I do, I did notice something quite funny. Okay, so this is just a Scirocco that I have lying around in my garage. Notice how noisy it is when reversing.
Big Lester, the high roller. What can I
Typical, someone's bloody got to go. Just shut up! Shut up! Go away! I was trying to make a point about a silly noise in my Scirocco. Please go away! Of course, just a perfect time. Please go away. Go away.
Lester, brother,
Go away. I don't want to race. I want to show off noisy Scirocco. It's a very peculiar noise. Eventually, can you just end the phone call? Where is the hang up button? Oh, the fuzz are around, and the fuzz are going to get angry at me messing about in reverse. And the police are quite picky in this game. They'll get you for running red lights and so on, and definitely for running over the footpath. Right? Can I have just a second here to know? Right, here we go. Enjoy the sound. Now, that is a very, very windy diff. The funny thing is, you can make it do this without very much speed. Uh-oh. Fuzz are here and might be angry at me. Don't mind me, I'm just showing off the weird differential in my car. I assume it is diff noise. I'm not actually 100% sure. But it's quite funky regardless. Yes, you actually have to pay attention to traffic lights when the fuzz are around. I mean, once the fuzz are gone, then it doesn't matter. You can see the speedo, the little, where it says 55 miles an hour, that is a speed limit for this area. You go over that, you will get caught, etc. It's quite important to pay attention to all of that. If you are playing the game normally, of course. We are not. There's been a long diversion. A long diversion to try and show off the very weird noise of the Scirocco. However, I hope you are ready for what you are about to see. So, there have been various donator requests for cars, and chat has helped me build them. This is what we came up with. So, once you complete the game on Midnight Club, I didn't actually know you could go to view cars. That's quite helpful. Once you complete the game on Midnight Club, you are free to go and do whatever you like. Buy whatever upgrades don't cost you any money, so you can just mess around with just about everything. So I've kind of got this completed so far, which means I can prat around. Okay, apparently I can't do it to every car. What the bloody hell? I didn't click on the Scirocco game, I clicked on the Vantage. So this was the first one. This was the first car that we set about modifying. We have got to go through some loading times, but it's worth it. Yeah, it's worth it, alright. So, the Aston Martin budget. And bear in mind here, this was on the fairly tame end of the spectrum. A lot of the high-end cars, there is actually not too much that you can do with them. The wheels, they were interesting. They were interesting. You can just about make out the width of the front wheels compared to the width of the rear wheels. So this was a start. Like, this was before we quite realised how crazy we could get with cars. Okay, this was before we realised just quite how crazy we could get with cars. There's a mostly black and orange interior, sparkly purple exterior, the terrifying combination of wheel colours, and kind of a gasser-ish. Look at the width of those. I mean, if this was in Forza, the speed that this car would be capable of would be just amazing. The speed at which the Aston Martin could go would be incredible. Also, the headlights, I don't understand quite why they're ever an option. Oh, it looks very, very weird if you look at it from this angle. I mean, it looks very weird at that angle, and especially weird at that angle. I mean, there's no real pretty yet. Maybe from that angle it looks best, because you don't quite realise how hideous the rest of it is. But there we go. So, that was the start. That is where we begun. The next car that we came across, the next car that we built, this is one of the favourites. It's quite a difficult one to beat. You can kind of gradually see as we figured out more, more what we could do. So this was an attempt at a monster truck Golf, or as good as we could make it. It's a gold. It is raised up as much as it can go with kind of fairly small wheels, but massive sidewalls on it. From the front, it kind of looks like quite a happy Golf. The interior is very purple. The interior is very, very purple. And the windows are tinted neon green. In fact, what we will do is we will go for a drive with this car, just to show you what it is like from the interior camera. Oh, I've also got quite a lot of cars in this game, and it does have I've got a lot of cars, and quite a lot of them are very, very interestingly modified, like this one. The game does have a little panic attack when you try and exit the garage with some of these cars. I don't think it quite knows what to do with them. So, yeah, it turns out if you tint the windows sort of offensive green, it makes them glow. We think this car might be radioactive. No one is quite sure, but there is quite a good possibility that the Golf, or the Rabbit, depending on what you want to call it, is radioactive. It also does 75 miles an hour on two wheels. No! Oh, okay, we're fine. We are stronger than whatever that was. Yeah, it is a... Here we go. We have done a tumbly, rolly, overy thing. Now, like, handling-wise, I don't actually think this makes much difference, having done this to cars. It's quite easy. It's quite easy to roll this one. It's quite easy, admittedly, to roll cars regardless of suspension. However, this one is extra easy to roll around. Now we've just broken all of the radioactive windows. Yeah, like actual driving on the road characteristics, I don't think are any different to how a normal Golf would behave, a normal Rabbit would behave. I think there might be slight differences when we start getting up on two wheels. Although, to be fair, I think this car is perhaps more prone to rolling over than a lot of cars are anyway, on here being well, I mean, it's a slightly higher riding car to begin with. But yeah, I mean, it's... Oh yeah, of course, the interior is very purple. The interior is very purple and orange. Oh, I'm busy looking around inside my car. Probably should be driving and looking around inside. I mean, this is definitely driving distracted when you've got all of... Oh, that sun! Christ! Oh, that's a solid thing. I blame the sun entirely. It is all of the sun's fault. I mean, it is a majestic car, this one, and it's certainly a distinctive, unique sort of a vehicle. And bear in mind here, this was like the second car that we built. Second car that we figured out we could be doing interesting stuff too. So, yeah, that's the Golf. Let's go and we'll repair the vehicle first. What do we got next? Challenger. So, the Challengers, and there are a few vehicles like this that we figured out were quite difficult to do really silly things with, because there wasn't a huge amount in terms of body kit options. I tried. I had to get creative with this one. Like, in terms of body kits, there was nothing really particularly absurd. I mean, the wing's very dumb, and the back of the car isn't particularly pretty. If we ignore the wing's very dumb. The back of the car isn't exactly great. The only way I could really make the Challenger truly absurd, I mean, the sparkly pink paint job and the blue windows are pretty bad, but it was all about the wheels. Make the wheels as tiny as possible. It looks very silly. So very small wheels, as wide as we could get them on the car, just everything is tiny. And that was the Challenger. In fact, the wheels are so small that you can actually see the car doesn't sit on the ground. Nope. It's a floating Challenger. It's a magical Challenger, I think, is the best way of putting it. We'll go with a magical Challenger. I like that. So, yeah. Of course, people wanted to see me ruin an RX-8. Naturally. And I say ruin an RX-8. I mean, it's another spectacular sight to behold. This one, we were kind of going, again, we were trying to go for sort of the donk-style car. It is quite difficult. You are limited, if we go into customized vehicle, you are limited a little bit by how much you can do. I think it's exterior, and then if we go to wheels, it must be in wheels dimensions. There we go. Yeah, so ride height, you are limited by what you can and can't get away with. So you can't have it too massively high, and that was as good as we could get. The paint job's an interesting combination. The wheels are quite special. Again, it was a case of trying to get as many different colours in the car as you possibly could. I mean, the body kit's not terrible, like, around the back. The front bumper's hideous. The rest of the car is, that's a terrifying angle to look at it from there. Oh. Yeah, the front bumper's not good. The rest of it, I mean, it's silly, but it's not the worst possible imaginable. Yeah, so that was the RX-8 that we did some silly things to. Actually, a lot of this body kit looks like it would make an excellent Hot Wheels track. I think. I feel like that looks like it's customized with a Hot Wheels track. So, again, sticking with the theme of cars that you wouldn't really expect to be able to do much to, so had to get a little bit creative. Mercedes has lost its wheel. There we go, the wheels are back. So, yeah, cars that lack much in the way of modification options, we had to start getting silly with the wheels again. So this time it was sort of full-on B wheels for Mercedes. The rear bumper's pretty strange as well. Not sure. The pink actually worked quite well on the window. Sometimes the absurdly bright colours don't really work on the windows very well. None of them quite match the green for that sheer neonness and that sheer... I think they emanate light from them. I'm not sure the technology that went into them. Some sort of magical, mystical technology has gone into the Midnight Club LA windows to emanate light in the way that they do. This one, yeah, is more about the wheels. More about the wheels. Not quite as good as the Auto Sculpt from Pro Street, but it is pretty damn impressive nonetheless. So, that was the Mercedes. I can't actually remember. What did we do to the Chrysler? I remember all of the other cars. I remember building the Chrysler 300C. I can't remember what we did to it. We will find out in a couple of seconds' time. Oh, God, that's what we did to it. Again, going for the silly wheel option. The front looks rather peculiar. If anything, the front looks like a car out of GTA. This is like a GTA car trying to be a Chrysler 300C, is what the front bumper on this looks like. We went for the half and half split, offensive blue and orange, kind of a strange purpley gradient in the middle, where they meet. The interior, as you can see, is very green, again opting for the pink windows. What we really wanted to do was have like offensive blue one side, the actual car painted offensive blue one side, and then on the orange side of the car have all of that stuff, like the windows and the wheels painted offensive blue, and then vice versa. Unfortunately, you can't paint stuff like that separately on here, so we couldn't have blue wheels on a side of the car. A little bit of a shame, but still worked pretty well. Also, the rear bumper was strange. The rear bumper was just kind of like randomly extended down down the bottom, but there we go. And don't worry here, okay? You might be looking at these cars, if you've still got your eyes left. Things get better. Things do get better. Now, the Miura was a meaner request, this one, as the Miura is an incredibly pretty car to begin with. And we turned it into a vampire. Kind of a vampire, sort of bat-looking thing. Another one which was on the rather limited end of the spectrum in terms of modifications, as you can imagine, not very much in terms of bodywork. You would hope there wasn't. I kind of done some weird things to the back of the car. However, yeah, from the front bumper and headlights that you could change it to, it really does look like a bat. And to actually show that off even better, one of the things that we were doing with just about everything was, of course, everything had scissor doors, because why not? But even that works on the lamp. It just continues the whole vampire bat thing. I mean, of all the things we could have done to a Miura, it's not pretty. However, it's kind of, at least there was a theme to it. And it kind of worked out okay-ish. It's all very red inside. So that was the Miura. Now, we're saving the Golf. The R32 is going to be saved for last because that is something quite special. The RS4, this one was a surprisingly interesting challenge. This was a task to try and have no two bits of the car the same colour, which was actually really quite difficult to get down. You can kind of see the interior. I tried to get as many different colours, so many different shades of colours on the go as possible. I've gone for kind of a more traditional drag car look on this one. A lot of the bodywork, so where the green is, for example, is all painted in just one lot. So, yeah, a lot of the bodywork is just sort of solid green, but there was a fair, if we go into the interior of the car, I mean, yeah, we're doing really dumb things here with these cars. However, it's a testament to the game that it actually allows you to modify, customize cars in the level of detail that it does. So in here, there are so many different colours. It would give you a very big headache. It would give you a very, very big headache indeed. However, that was the challenge. You know, that was the challenge. I mean, there's like offensive orange, but my normal orange on the back of the car. There's a different shade of orange on the inside. You've got like neon red almost going on the wheels with some There's a lot of colours involved. There's a lot of colours involved in the Audi. However, my personal favourite of the lot is the R32 Golf. Now, not everyone will agree with me on this one. Other people have preferred other cars that we have built on here for their sheer silliness value. However, I have to say the Golf is probably the best. Are you ready? I hope you are. I really hope you are. And I hope this exceeds your expectations right now as to how the Golf is going to look. It gets funnier every time you see it. It really does get funnier every time you see it. So, I mean, the body kit, first of all, is pretty god-awful. It's pretty bad. I mean, it kind of looks like the intercooler's its tongue sticking out. I don't know what on earth is up with the headlights. Then we've got a very yellowy interior. The paint's quite funky. Around the rear, of course, we've got a double spoiler. Well, we've kind of got a shelf by the window for whatever shelving needs you might have. Kind of looks quite sad at the back. And then you've got the wheels. So, as you saw when I was showing off with the donk, there are limits to what you can do in terms of wheels and tyres, size, etc. For some reason, whatever that is, the Golf lets you go way smaller than just about everything else. I mean, they are go-kart wheels, essentially, that have been put on the Golf. The Challenger's wheels were very dumb. There is no doubt about that, but this is just something incredible. So, of course, naturally, we're going to have to take it out. I'm hoping the time of day has gone to daylight so that you can appreciate the majesty of this car. Also, one of the colours, it is daylight, fantastic. One of the kind of the black colours for the wheels has made it in such a way that it looks almost like it's an invalid texture. It's very strange. So yeah, that had to stay. It's just the most ridiculous vehicle. I like to stick it up on its side because I like seeing the wheels that are wobbling around in the air. It's a little bit difficult to film this, of course, because the cameras aren't the greatest in this game. But yeah, you can kind of see the wheels. They're so diddy. They are so diddy on this car. I'm actually very surprised it's letting me drive this far down the road with it on its side. That's quite cool. It really is quite something to behold. And again, much like with all the other cars, all of the other silly suspension configurations, it doesn't really affect the car. If you didn't know that it was on piddly little wheels, it doesn't drive like it's suddenly got go-kart tyres on a full-size car. We go inside. I mean, we haven't got the silly glowy windows quite on this. It's just more of a yellowy beige interior for all of your yellowy beigey needs. Yeah, you wouldn't know from driving here. I mean, it's a little bit bouncy, perhaps. I think that's just the handling model, really, on this game, like when you can move side to side and get the car rocking and so on. But yeah, it's ridiculous. It really is. But it's one of those things, like, I'm glad Midnight Club allows you to go this crazy. Yes, it looks unbelievably stupid, and as I said, some of you may have lost eyes up until this point, and I'm not even sorry. When a game gives you this much creative freedom to prat around, I'm going to take that creative freedom. I am going to take that creative freedom and make the most... What's the correct word here, do we reckon? The most unique. Yes, I think unique is a good word. The most unique cars possible. For a bit of fun, yeah, Midnight Club does really very well for the crazy freedom of building all sorts of mad machines. This thing is a truly special. Let's press the wrong button for gear change. I always struggle to remember what buttons are gear changes on this game. Yeah, this is a truly remarkable looking car, and yeah, I'm glad that the game exists and allows you to go as mad as it does. In many ways, I kind of wish it let you go as mad as this with some of the other cars, if you were so inclined. You know, most people maybe not, but I am so inclined, and you get creations like this. What more could you possibly want? So yeah, that was a look at a collection of vehicles that we built on Midnight Club LA. Always good fun playing around on this game. I'm sure I'll be streaming it in the near future. If you want to keep up to date with when streams are happening and so on, follow me on Twitter. There will be schedules posted up on Monday for the coming week, and I'm sure we will revisit this game to build more crazy, weird, odd, and downright mind-hurting cars. That though is going to be it for this. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.